All right, we're live.
Hey, what's up, people? I apologize. Let me say anything. I'm the one why we're late. I'm the reason why we're late. I would not tell you why we're late because I would only embarrass myself. So, Alicia, I want to apologize to you. I do not think. Well, I don't think I'll be able to see the. I'm using my phone because I'm not going to tell y'all, okay? Because I'm just going to come across as moronic, and I refuse to think I'm a moron. All right, okay. So, welcome to He Said She Said. And of course, this week, I'm going to win. We are discussing should we normalize prenup? And I would like to say welcome to anyone. Like I said, guys, I can't see what you're saying, but Queen Elisa, I'm sure she's there. She'll respond to your questions, etc. Um, okay, so Queen Alicia, should
Okay.
we should we normalize prenups?
Okay. This topic is very iffy. Normalizing prenup. I think it depends where you are in life. I do think prenups are important because you never know. I did a poll. I did a poll on Facebook and Instagram yesterday,
Yeah.
and majority of the people said yes to prenups. My two it was yes, you never know, and no, we have a tight bond. Those were my options. And a lot of people said yes, you should have a prenup. And I only got one lady and one guy who said no, we have a hi Nadira, no, we have a tight bond. So it makes me rethink. Like, it seems like in this day and age, 2021, more people are saying yes to prenups because when you get a divorce, just for the average person, either spouse can come for your car, they can come for your house, whatever asset, alimony, your pension. I didn't realize that until like later on in life, when you surround yourself with other people, that people really dip into other people's pension when they go through a divorce. I'm like, wow. All
Well, I
these.
mean, well, let's face it. In most instances, people very, very rarely divorce amicably.
Mhm.
Something drastic tends to happen in the marriage. Albeit the classic she cheated, he cheated, or something happens. And I've been struggling with this one. I spoke to a few people earlier in the week, and surprisingly, a lot of them were leaning towards yes, and then a few of them came back and said, "No, I thought about it, and no." So
Right.
you're right. It's a very different kind. This one is different. It's not as black and white. To me, it's more shades of gray. The
Mm-hmm.
truth is, I kind of think if I meet you, and when I meet you, you are struggling, makeup artist or something, and we fall in love, and we get married, and I pass all your tests. Even that wink wink. Anybody who comes to the show regularly know what I mean when I say that, right? And we get married until we get married. And in the process of our getting married, I take on two more jobs or another job, and I say, okay, babe, this is what we're gonna do. Your company's a dope. Um, I love you. Uh, you say, honey, I need $5,000. I need $3,000 to start my company officially. And I said, baby, I love you. You're my girl. You're my sweetheart. And I hand you the $3,000, right? The dynamic now changes if I never help you, for instance. I don't, I give you some money and that's it. But
Mm-hmm.
you turn this corporation into it's a huge corporation. And for whatever reason we decide to separate. Now that becomes very complex because you were going to say, but you didn't really help me to build it. Let me give you back your $3,000 with interest if you're a reasonable person. I'm going to say, no, 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 no. I met you broke, and now you are worth millions and millions of dollars. And by law, I deserve to get half of it. And let's face it, as I said, when people get divorced, it's very rarely amicably. It's never. It's very rarely like, our love didn't work out. It's not your
Mhm.
fault. It's mine. So,
Mhm.
and you say, oh, it's all good, right? So I think normally in that situation, people get very angry and bitter. And I spoke with someone regarding, I said earlier this week, and she was offended when her ex-husband, at the time when they were getting married, he said, 1 second, forgive me, don't guys, don't get upset. Yeah, he said to her, he said, my dad wants me to sign a prenup because he's the only child in the family, and the father had acquired a decent amount of money and land and property. And the father's like, yo, I don't want you to just hand my money over to this girl, right? And she was offended.
Mhm.
She was, it really impacted their marriage. The very fact that he even asked her, she was just offended. She was like, I'm not marrying you for your money. But, well, let's be practical. You kind of are marrying the person for their money and
Right.
their hopes, and you kind of are.
I
So,
think, Peter, I always had like a weird feeling about people who find it offensive when someone asks for a prenup. I mean, it's not personal, that to me is kind of a little bit like, what's it to you if I ask for a prenup? That's something that I want.
yeah, but I think because of human nature, I think because what she described to me was she felt denigrated, she felt insulted, she felt, she felt as if they were walking into a business relationship. But the truth is, marriage is a business relationship. No
Right.
matter what we say, because the truth is, if I get married to you or you get married to me, right? What happens in that situation? Sorry, guys, I'm using my phone, so I'm trying to, you know, um, what happens in that situation is the obvious, which is, um, by law, if we once we've been married over a certain period of time, you, in most instances, as a female, you can get half of my stuff,
Right.
literally, you know. So I kind of think maybe it's a generational thing. Maybe people who are younger might say, but the truth is, the person who was telling me who was so offended, she's like 28. she, you know, she she was livid. She was like, how could you ask me this? And I kind of got it. And then she said, how would you feel, Peter, if you were asked, hey, would you sign a prenup?
Mm-hmm.
Because I think for some people, the signal is that means you expect us to fail.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? It's like you're actually saying we're gonna fail. And then I found so many amazing situations where people should have signed a prenup. Paul
Right.
McCartney, Paul McCartney. People, the information's on my phone, and I'm using my phone, unfortunately. But Paul McCartney met this lovely young lady. They fell in love, and his team and everyone said, "Hey, Paul, hey, Paul, don't make it bad. Let her sign a prenup and make it better." You know what I'm saying? And he said, "No, I mean, we're in love, we're in love, we're in love." 3 years later, they were divorced, and she had gotten an astounding amount of his money.
Yeah.
That it took his entire career to build this crap loads of money. And it makes you question many, many things. But like I said, people are attracted to you for many, many reasons. And if Alicia is like a Paul McCartney, a J Lo, or someone, and I meet her, I'm sure that a part of my attraction may be the fact that she's financially secure. If you get what I'm saying, that might be
Yeah.
a part. There's so many instances that I was shocked by this. The most obvious, Britney Spears. We all know the Britney Spears story. I don't think they were married for a year, and until today, he gets, I think, hundreds of thousands of US every month
Mm-hmm.
because he basically slept with her for a year. That's insane. I mean, of course, they had children together, and apparently, there's some sort of challenges. She has a few challenges. Um, But I don't know, guys.
Yeah,
This one's a tough one.
it's a tough one. I think I really do now. I think I would sign a prenup because.
So that means that at one point you wouldn't have done it. Guys, forgive me, I have to plug in my phone. I wasn't very organized this week, which is not what I'm like generally. So that means at one point you had said, hey, I wouldn't sign a prenup. Or you just never thought about it. Which one is it?
In the past, I never thought about it. As a matter of fact, in the past, I thought prenups were just for the rich. I never, until I started going into the workforce and heard horror stories of people who said, oh, I'm getting a divorce and I got to go through my 401k. I got to watch my pension with him. You start to hear from other people's experiences. And then I started to think maybe a prenup is not a bad idea, especially.
It's not such a bad idea.
Especially if you're at a point in life where you're doing things and trying to attain a certain lifestyle, you might want to consider a prenup. Yeah.
Look, I just think we don't know where we're going to be tomorrow. And the truth is, a prenup can also protect the person who is signing the prenup. Meaning both. I may come to you and offer you a prenup, and it might end up saving you. It might protect you financially. I mean, there's so many amazing examples. There is the famous case of Mr. Trump, the former president, Mr. Trump, who I think his first wife, I remember her name, Ivan or something. I think she ended up with a good amount of money for the time many, many years ago when they got divorced. But then the second wife, I think, she only got $1 million US, and at the time he was worth hundreds of millions of dollars, not a few billion. So I kind of think, I think maybe the thing that we have to understand is, how should I put this? People who are not financially secure don't generally think about prenups.
Right.
And the truth is, when we are growing up and we're watching all these love stories and these movies, there's no scene in the movie where the girl says, oh, baby, I love you so much. Oh, God, sign a prenup. I can't wait to be with you. That doesn't really happen in the movies. In the movies, you fall in love and that's it. And that's the message that we are told. But after you pose this question, and I got so excited about it that we were doing something else that week, and I kind of just got lost, if you remember, getting into this stuff, because I realized this is really not black and white. This is really about where you are. If I meet you, Lisa, and we get together, and you're a millionaire when I meet you, and I'm broke, I think you should ask me for a prenup.
Of course.
You should. You know what I'm saying? Or if I'm starting a company, let's say I'm starting the next Facebook. And I mean, I hope it will be the next Facebook, but we don't know. And at some point in the process, I meet you. I think, I should. I think it's really about where you are in your life.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think it has a lot to do with that.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Sorry.
Go ahead, Peter.
No, well, I was saying that I think I would advise anyone at any stage in their development to do this. Because I've also seen horror stories where the person helps the partner, the husband or the wife, to create their wealth, or to create an atmosphere in which they could become wealthy. Not necessarily run the company, but just create an environment where the person's creativity was at its best. You know what I'm saying? Or maybe they were able to hook them up with other people or get them in, but like I said, I think the main issue is we would not see prenup as an issue if it wasn't that divorce within itself is a largely emotional process.
Yeah. And speaking of emotional, the singer Kelly Clarkson, she's going through a nasty divorce now, and she has to pay her ex-husband $200,000 in child and spousal support, and she's so angry about that. But I think when they got together, she wasn't making as much as
she wasn't this Kelly Clarkson.
Right, she wasn't this big Kelly Clarkson. But yeah, it's a nasty divorce, and I don't think she got a prenup.
But that's what I'm saying. I'm saying because of how the law is constructed, I guess the law is constructed to protect both partners, both
Mhm.
persons. But then the very idea, I think, for some people of having a prenup goes against the very concept of love and falling in love and getting married. Because we kind of we romanticize this thing and we kind of say, no, if you love the person, hey, we don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. But I, this is
Yeah,
a hard one
it's a hard one
because
because, like you
go
said,
ahead.
before, people get offended. They're like, "Oh, you don't think we're gonna work out if you want a prenup?" And it's like I said, it's not about you. It's just about me protecting what I came into the marriage with. That's it. It's not personal, but people make it personal.
Look, I don't know. I think the whole concept of prenups, it goes beyond just the physicality of a prenup. I think we're talking about deep-seated issues psychologically and emotionally, and how people respond to those deep-seated issues. Because I can understand. I've been with someone many, many, many years ago. We got together, and I realized, as we decided to move in. This was many moons ago, and the person, they had access to most of my accounts if there was an issue, etc. But the person wouldn't give me access to theirs
Mm-hmm.
under any circumstance, right?
Wouldn't give you access to theirs.
Wouldn't give me access. Basically, they were on a good amount of my accounts just in case there was an issue, or they were, but they just wouldn't. They would refuse to. And one day I sat with the person and said, I'm not understanding what's going on here. But the person, they just had an insecurity that we weren't going to work, and I would empty their bank account and leave, right? People walk into situations with baggage, and
Yeah.
sometimes it's justifiable and sometimes it's not. And again, like I said earlier, we have this romanticized, guys. If I'm not responding to you in the comments, I'm using the phone, and I find when I click on the chat, I can't see Alicia or anything.
Yeah.
So yeah, so Alicia will respond to you guys. I heard Nadira is there. Hey Nadira, what's up? Um, Yeah, so I think this is really much more than just signing a piece of paper. This is
Yeah.
about a lot of insecurities because, as you said, it does kind of seem like you're saying, "Hey, we're not going to work," but I mean, so since there's a high possibility we will work, why don't you sign this?
Right.
You get me? So there's also that aspect to it, and there are people who are like, then if I'm going to walk into a marriage and you're already going to say, before we even start the marriage, you're saying, hey, I'm betting against us, right? I'm putting on my bet against us. So why don't you do this so I can hedge my bet? And I
Mm-hmm.
think that's why some people find it, and then there are some people who are like, and mostly women felt this way when I spoke to about 11 persons, and most of the women were like, wait, so I mean, so you intend to give me some of my money? I mean, I don't understand. I mean, I don't understand. We're getting married. I mean, the children, etc. So it really is about how you walk into the situation. And I'm going to be honest. At the beginning of this journey, like when you pose this, I personally was like, "Tabo, really poor, Tabo, no." But as I went through the journey with these people and I started reading these horror stories, I mean, and I don't want it. I'm not going to disparage her because I'm a huge fan of her, and I don't know what it was, but I know that Janet Jackson, when she got married to this Arabian prince, in the prenup, if she had a child for him, because I guess he wanted a child, and it didn't work out, he had to pay her a certain amount of money, and they divorced very quickly, and she walked away with $500 million. That's serious, and obviously that prenup protected him as well because maybe to him $500 million is not really a lot of money.
Mm-hmm.
He'd rather give her $500 million than give her half of 50 or $100 million, billion, sorry, dollars. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But I would love to marry someone and did not work, and after 18 months or a year I get $500 million US. I wouldn't have a problem with that generally.
And that's another thing too. You have to get a prenup lawyer to make sure that you see what's included in that prenup, because lots of times people get a prenup and then they don't know what's in their prenup, and then when they get a divorce, they're like, wait a minute, I didn't know that that was included in this, you know.
Yeah.
So that's also very important.
That's what I'm saying, though. I mean, let's be honest. It kind of sounds as if the person is saying, "Hey, I'm marrying you, but I don't trust you at all.
Yeah, I don't see it.
I,
I
I,
mean,
I don't think this is going to really work out,
as
but
human
we
nature,
just try it up."
then wouldn't that be like a red flag?
But that's what I'm saying. That's what
Right.
I'm saying.
Like you should know. I mean, on the other part, I have a right to say, hi, I love you. I really want to marry you, but I want a prenup. That's my right. If the person that I'm marrying sees that as an insult, then I think that's a little red flag. Like, what do you care that I want a prenup?
Because, well, I think though, and if I'm being sexist, ladies, please put me in my place immediately. I kind of think that many women, not all, of course, many women. I mean, when I talk to my female friends, um, they kind of the implication is if they get with a man and they get to the point where they're going to get married to that man, then a part of what they're seeing is how they can help this man to get to his maximum, get to his best potential. Um, and I think then the question becomes, if I'm going to be investing myself in you emotionally, mentally, sexually, physically, probably also financially, rubbing your head when things aren't right in the business, etc., then I mean, why would I sign a prenup that says if in case we break up, and this is what I think many prenups are like. Hey, if we break up, whatever you came into a relationship with is what you leave with. You get what I'm saying? So in the process of us being married, you become a multimillionaire, and I'm doing okay. But I mean, I am not putting paper like that. But I was the one that said, hey, you know what? You know that idea you have of selling apples? I think it's a great idea. You know what? And you're kind of, Peter, do you think I should do it? I'm like, babes, you should do it. You get what I'm saying? And when you come home and you're frustrated and you're like, oh man, the apples aren't selling, and I'm like, yo, they're gonna sell. Who do I need to call? Get me? So, and we go through this process for years, and then the Apple starts selling. You start making mad paper, and something happens, and we end. Maybe you meet someone because you're now a multimillionaire, and I'm just making a few bucks. You step up in life, and you end up with, I don't know, Denzel Washington or someone like that, and and I have to leave the relationship with the same money that I came in with. I can see where that can become an issue. I can see where the other person is saying, no, 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 I don't want to sign this. This feels as if, because our worth, it's much more than just a financial aspect of it. It's much more than that. You know what I'm saying? I
So
mean,
then it's basically like saying, okay, if I marry this person, that person owes me something. That's basically what a lot of people who refuse to sign prenups are saying in their head. Like, I own this person, or it's like an ownership type of thing.
it could be, but I mean, the truth is, if I help to take you from zero to a billionaire, and we leave, and I walk away with nothing, that's messed up.
I
I
mean,
mean,
it's messed up, but you can only hope that the person has a heart to say, okay, we're divorcing, take this and leave me alone for the rest of my life.
however, if that's the case, if it's a matter of having a heart, then we don't need the prenup because both of us should have a heart and just
But
be
usually
reasonable.
breakups and nasty.
But that's what I'm saying. Once people get to the point of a divorce, but there are instances really where there was a big instance. There's a company called the Gleaner in Jamaica, and the gentleman who owns it, God, I should be ashamed. I can't remember this gentleman's name. Nice man, I met him years ago. Anyway, but he had got married, I think, a second time, and the person he was married to, I don't think they had a prenup. At first, he was married to, because they're very, very wealthy people, very wealthy. By any stat, anywhere in the world, these people are super wealthy.
Right.
And I think they decided to get divorced. And he has enough money. He just kept her in the courts for decades, just decades. so long. I mean, keep her there long enough for her to literally drop dead kind of thing. I don't know if I'm telling the story correctly, guys. So if I'm not, I want to apologize.
Oh, he
To
did that to
them.
delay Peter to delay everything with like financially.
Yeah, but that's what some wealthy people do. It's one of the tricks. It would be like me. I'm suing ABC, for instance. ABC, okay, you have like one lawyer. I have 50 million of the best lawyers on the planet. We'll keep you in litigation until your great grandchildren are dead. I don't
Right.
mean they can do that. So again, from that perspective, a prenup would help the person signing the prenup, if you get what I'm saying. But you said something important. You said if you're going to sign that prenup, you need to have a prenup lawyer, someone who specializes in that and who can say, oh no, there are hidden clauses here or there's stuff here. Because I did, like I said, the stuff is on the phone, people, forgive me. But I did research on prenups that had the weirdest stuff. Like
Yeah.
if you didn't dugu dugu, people who know me know what I mean by dugu dugu. Dugu dugu is, the, the thing that adults do. And if you don't do it a certain amount of, I'm really in their prenup. If you don't do it a certain amount of time, within the week, so and so and so, or if you don't have a child within so and so on. It's literally this is something that I was like, what? But so you're right. People put weird ass stuff in prenups.
Wow.
You know,
Also, who had a prenup and still had to pay her ex-husband a lot? Mary J. Blige. But
you didn't know that.
yeah, he was her manager. So I guess there was
That's a little different, though. Come on,
yeah, she had to pay. I think she's still paying him every month spousal
but
support.
hold on there. Was he her manager from inception, from she started? He was with her for many, many, many years until she became a superstar.
When he met her, he was her manager.
But then, okay,
married her manager.
but okay, so he's getting, because that means if he was management, he might have gotten pieces of royalty, that kind of stuff. Since I sing, so the prenup would have been separate. This is a marriage prenup, separate and apart from. Oh no, they didn't sign a prenup.
She had a prenup with him.
So how did he end up with all this money?
I guess because he's her manager. I don't know. She had to pay him a lot of spousal support.
I need to move to New York. Formally. I need to get back there, guys.
So even in that sense, there's some prenups that you still gotta pay a lot. You get a divorce.
But look at Jeff. Is it Jeff Bezos the other day who had to pay his wife like something like $50 billion?
Well, he can afford it.
I think no matter how much you can afford it, it's gonna hurt to lose $50 billion. I don't care who you are. You're gonna be pissed off.
They've been together for a long time, and they have kids together. So,
but as I'm saying, wouldn't be the same thing with Mary J. Blige and her manager? Wouldn't they have been together for quite some time? Wouldn't they have been responsible for some of her success?
No, I think they were together more than 7 years, but no kids together. Okay. But he cheated. That's the thing too. Like, he cheated, and she still has to pay him. That I don't like.
I get it, but this is what I mean by people conflating the emotional with the pragmatic. Okay, whatever the reason, whatever he did, she messed up. You know what I'm saying? There should have been something there to protect her. But then again, he might have been the person who she sought advice from, since he was her manager.
Right.
So that's, I'm going to be. I'm fully vaccinated, so I'm going to be there soon. Kelly, if you're looking for a Rasta man from Jamaica, man, we're there, Yes, Kelly. You don't need much, Good.
That's why, Peter, I say, it depends where you are in life to get a prenup. Before when I was just living life, I didn't have any sense of direction of where I was going. I didn't care about prenup. Those things didn't cross my mind, but now I say, yeah, I would definitely get a prenup. And
so you think it's about maturity then? It's about
Maturity
maturity.
has a lot to do with it, and experiences, and hearing horror stories from other people. I would definitely get a prenup.
But
And
it's cultural though, isn't it? I mean, there are cultures that are very successful cultures
yeah,
where there is a kind of prenup, but it's not the ones we know of. It's where my dad comes to your dad and say, "Hey, kids are like 14 now, and you and I are in business together. So let's cement the business and let Peter and Alicia get married. If you guys get divorced, okay, this is what's going to happen." Or as what happened with the royals in Europe, which was even worse, which was, okay, all right, guys, we don't want to fight any more wars this month. We've already killed 100,000 soldiers and some villagers, etc. So I'm going to send my 11-year-old daughter to marry you. How old are you again? Hey, man, I'm 45.
mhm,
You know, but those were kind of prenups. They
right.
were kind of a way of saying, if my daughter is married to you, you will not attack us anymore. There will be no war. It will bring us together. So um, I guess, I mean, those culture. I mean, I that's something I forgot to do. Because I thought about it. Those cultures wouldn't have anything called a prenup in the formal sense, unless it would be a prenup between the two. You know what I'm saying? The parents, two families who
Right.
decide who's
They
going to marry
talk
who.
about
Kind
it,
of. Yeah,
you know.
but I don't know though. There's still a part of me. I wish I could see what you guys are saying in the chat, but there's still a part of me that feels like, no, man. I mean, I meet a girl, we fall in love, we're happy. You know, that's that seems, like you said it. Prenups are really for rich people, though. I mean, I'm not sure if and the thing is, we don't know who's
No,
going to become rich.
I thought they were only for rich people, but actually, I know a lady who she is going through a divorce with her husband, and he's coming for her pension. She has a lot of money in her pension.
Oh yeah, he knows. He
Right.
knows.
They've been married for a long time. So, and she's like stressed out because what she said, it was he messed up in the marriage, and now he's coming for her pension. And that really sucks that you work so hard and this person cheated or whatever, did something in the marriage that wasn't right, and now you have to pay them.
Yeah, but I think, Alicia, I think you're reacting in the wrong way. Let's talk honestly about that part of it. It's not about whatever the person did in a moment or in several moments. It's about how the person may or may not have contributed to your success over an extended period of time. Whatever they did that led to people being bitter, and that's the thing, though, and that's another reason why I kind of am thinking prenups may be good, because when people get angry and they're hurt, they don't think straight. Nobody's because here what you said. You said the person cheated. That has nothing to do. That does not counter
Yeah,
all
but
the other things the person
okay,
contributed in the situation.
I get that, Peter, but women are very emotional. If I'm with someone and they cheated on me, I don't want to pay them nothing when we get a divorce. I'm gonna be
I,
pissed.
I get that, but if you are with someone and as a result of their behavior, their actions, their advice, you became wealthy, the person does have a right. The person helped you. In other words, the person you're speaking about, she might have a fat pension because of him.
But isn't that what people should do in a marriage or a relationship? You should help the other person to be better. You don't owe them anything when you leave.
Oh, come on. That's impractical. That's impractical.
No,
No,
it's not
that's
impractical.
impractical.
No,
Think
when you're
about it.
with someone, it's natural for you to encourage them to be better.
I don't know about that because I know marriages where there's no encouragement. I think that has never happened. But what I'm saying is, if we are to think about it, honest, that's why I said at the beginning of the discussion, when people are in that situation, you don't normally leave. Couples don't normally separate because things are going wonderfully well. Like people don't say, "Hey, oh my God, this is the happiest I've been in the last 20 years of my life. I could not be any more. You are perfect for me. So let's get divorced. That doesn't happen. What happens is, how could you do this or whatever? You know what I'm saying? So the act of the divorce itself is coming from a very deeply emotional place.
Mm-hmm.
And as a result of that, it fogs how we see the world. The truth is, if I'm with someone and in the process of being with her, even if she doesn't contribute in a direct way, even if she can't give me advice about my music career or any other creative thing or any other business that I'm in, the fact that I'm around her and this is what I mean now. Follow me, guys. In music, we have a thing we call a muse. So you have these people that you'll meet, and I've actually had two muses in my life. And because these people are around you, your creativity is at its best. You may not be, you may be involved with them, you may be married to them, they might be someone external to the relationship. But they, because of something about them, you become much more creative. It frees you, and you start creating great music. Great music leads to hits, hits lead to Grammy Awards, sold out tours. You get what I'm saying? Now, if the person was your wife or your husband, and something happened. Let's say the person who you have to do all these wonderful things, he or she cheated on you, and you're really angry. It doesn't take away from the fact that you were this person's muse. That's what I'm saying. You might not have directly impacted their life, but there must have been, and I realize that many courts in the US and in England and in Germany have started to rule this way. They're saying, wait a minute, you must have contributed. You were in the. All right, okay, guys. Let me put you another way. If Nadira is still here, she should be able to back me up on this. In music, and I've seen this happen to many artists. You may be in studio one day, and while you're in studio, you have a great rhythm laid down. The producer has this great track, and you're in there and you're in the zone and you're literally writing as you're recording. Because I've seen artists do this. I've done it myself. And in the middle of writing the song, you say, Mystic Ray, and somebody said, no. Somebody who just stepped into the studio. I said, no, man. Say, Mr. Lover. And you say, that sounds good. And you say that. And then there's another guy who comes in and he just sits there. He's not doing anything, or another girl who just sits there. Do you guys know that according to the copyright laws, the person who's just sitting in the studio doing nothing can end up with a percentage of your song? And the courts will say that person being there created an environment where you could write this massive hit song. And that's the same thing I'm saying. You might be with someone who, for whatever reason, this person inspires. Maybe it's a man and he's broke and he meets a babe, someone like a Queen Alicia, and he wants to step up to Queen Alicia, and she inspires him. Maybe he should just sit on his buns all day, and he said, I can't, I can't be the broke person in this relationship, and that drives him to become successful, because I've actually seen that in relationships. Or maybe it's a guy who's with a girl, and he's like, babes, I used to think you were a model, and why you don't model? And she's like, no, I'm not cute. And he's like, what do you mean? You're gorgeous, and he encourages you. And one day, Ford modeling agency has an open, and you say, you know what, Robert always something look cute enough. All right, and you just go down there, and boom, you get signed, and boom, you're on the cover of Vogue. That's what I'm saying. I mean, the person may not directly contribute, but emotionally, they may have created an environment where your self-confidence gets better, etc.
Mm-hmm.
How then do you now look at that person because they did something that makes you angry and say, no, I'm not giving you anything. No, you don't deserve it. So that's what I'm saying.
Peter,
I'm sorry, I've been rambling. Go ahead.
You're not. When you're mad, you're not going to go back to the happy days. When you're going through a divorce, you're not going to say, that person helped me do so much stuff. Let me be nice. You're going to be in the moment like, I'm mad. That's it. That's how divorces are.
So that's why then I can see where a prenup would be practical.
Yeah.
In that situation, it would be practical. This person helped you become a global superstar or whatever, or got you off the couch off your ass and to become something relevant. So I get that, and that's what I'm saying. I agree. I agree with you that when people are breaking up, it's not normally like, I mean, back in the day when, when I was a teenager, you could look at the girl or and say, it's not you, Alicia. It's me. It's me. You deserve better. That doesn't really work with people, especially in a marriage. In a marriage, that ain't gonna work. Especially if she's like, you lying, you,
Mhm.
you get what I'm saying? So maybe we should kind of look at the concept simply based on that fact that
Yeah.
people are emotional creatures and people change.
People change, I don't know. Like I said, I wouldn't have gotten a prenup years ago, but now I would, because you don't know sometimes who to trust. If they're just marrying you for this or that, you got to be very careful. And that's pretty sad.
But that's also counterproductive in the sense that if I have to be thinking about that with a woman that I'm in love with, I don't know, man. And maybe that's what happened to Paul McCarthy. Paul McCarthy was like, I'm in love with this woman. I'm not going to be thinking about the fact that I'm.
Yeah, but not look. Take the person.
Yeah.
Let's take the person out of the picture and just look at the prenup. I think that's the problem. You're putting a face on the prenup. Just say prenup and that's it. There's no person attached to that word prenup.
So are you saying you're suggesting prenups being a normal part of the marriage?
Right.
Process?
Just normal. Just
Uh,
normal.
is anyone in the chat making any comments? Because like I said, I can't see anything.
No, they're quiet in the chat tonight.
Okay. All right. All right. So I don't know. I just think the very idea. Look, logically, prenups make sense. They make sense just logically. Just logically, you should have a prenup.
Mm-hmm.
But emotionally, and marriages tend to be emotional. Marriages tend to be, it's about, you see forever. People don't say, will you marry me, knowing that's going to last a year or two or
Right.
three, you know? Um,
Hey, Danique.
So, I mean, this one is a rough one.
It's a rough one. It's a
It's a rough one, yeah.
topic tonight.
Yeah. Because I think emotionally, there's a part of me that screams, no, 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 prenups are almost anti-love and anti that kind of stuff. But the logical side of me is saying, no, 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 prenups make sense.
Yeah, I used to think that. I used to think that prenups, the connotation for me with prenups were negative. Like, no, that means we're going to break up. But now I see it as a positive.
Okay, so let me ask you a question. You are doing okay in life, and you meet a gentleman who is very wealthy, like seriously wealthy. And you guys get together, and let's say he has a child. And he said, babes, I really want to be with you, but you got to sign this prenup. What happens then?
I'm signing the prenup.
But what about the prenup? Let's just say he's worth $1 billion, and he says, okay, if we get divorced, you get $1 million, or you get 100,000. What happens then?
I'll be fine. I'll take the money and do something with it. I'll be okay. Because you know why I'll be okay? Because I'll know that I'll be doing my own thing.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's the problem in a lot of relationships. Wait, what happened?
Mm-hmm.
Sorry. I think that's the problem in a lot of relationships where people are too dependent on the other person. Just do your own thing, have your own stuff going on.
That makes sense, I guess. I mean,
reality. It's not the reality with a lot of people. They see this person and they're a millionaire and they're like, oh, I don't have to do anything. I'm married to a rich person. But you never know what's going to happen. That person could even die, you know?
Yeah. It's I'm kind of leaning towards somewhere in the middle for this.
Yeah.
I am, because I really have to admit that although the logical person in me says they make sense, they're practical, they uh they cover you financially, they cover your property, etc., etc. They take care of your financial well-being, especially if you are protecting you, you know. But then there's another side that says you've entered into a marriage that basically seems to be implying that this is not going to work, or I don't trust.
I don't see it
And
that
not,
way.
yeah, but I'm saying in none of those things are things that people want to walk into a marriage. Like nobody wants.
See, that's the problem, Peter, too. A lot of people, they walking into the illusion of a marriage. They're not being honest and saying, okay, let's put my cards on the table. Let's talk about finances. Let's talk about this before they get married. They just, oh, I want to get married. They're just marrying. What are you marrying? Like you said before, marriage is a
Yeah,
business.
yeah,
You know,
it is.
if you're just going to marry for love, it's not going to work.
Well, I think again it goes back to the cultural thing. I guess it depends on where you are in the world. In some parts of the world, marriage is about something else. Marriage is about procreation, or marriage is about uniting families, or stepping up socially. I think in the Western world where, we have a different sensibility, marriage is about being in love, But so I think once you introduce the concept, but the truth is, if I'm marrying Kelly Clarkson, hey, Kelly, yeah, if I'm marrying Kelly Clarkson, I know who Kelly Clarkson is. Um, her wealth and popularity must be a part of the attraction, no matter what I think. And I'm sure that I'm thinking, if I'm married to Kelly Clarkson, man, I got brother Ken, yeah, 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 I'll be okay. I'll be okay by that. So I could understand if Kelly Clarkson comes to me and say, "Hey, I gotta protect my assets," especially since I'm now paying my ex-husband $200,000 a month, right? I gotta protect me, so I get all of that.
Yeah.
Um, but again, I think there's just something in our gut, especially people who live in this Western world.
You know who has a prenup? And they're very much in love. Reality stars, Todd and Candy.
Yeah,
Candy,
yeah,
House of Atlanta, wife of the White
yeah,
House wife.
yeah,
Um, yeah, but her mother was against her marrying Todd because she makes a lot more money than him.
right.
And so she decided, the mother was like, get a prenup so that she can feel that Todd is not after her for her money. So she got a prenup and he was okay with signing it. And he's doing his own thing and making his own money. He didn't have a problem signing the prenup. He understood because she talked to him and communicated that this is what it is and this is how my mother's feeling. And they look okay.
What if they had reversed the roles, though? What if it was Todd who was making a whole lot more money, and Todd said to her, "My dad is a little uncomfortable, and maybe you should sign this prenup." Because what I did find is that a lot of the persons I spoke as, like I said, I spoke to 11 persons about this, 7 of which were women, and the women were more like, you know,
What was the age range of the woman?
23, 37, and they were more like, I don't want it for his money. Yeah, that was the first thing. I don't want it for his money, and I
Okay,
was
so
like,
if they don't want the guy for his money, what's the problem signing a prenup? If
but
you
that's
don't
that's
want it,
exactly. But this is exactly the point I'm saying.
right, so you are after his money because if a guy if a millionaire, I'm engaged to a millionaire, he says I want you to sign a prenup, and I'm not after his money, why would I have a problem signing it?
But you're gonna be. But that's what I'm saying. I'm saying if we are male or female, you're dating someone who you're gonna get married to, who's making crazy paper. It is a part of the attraction. No matter what you think, it may not be the fundamental part. It might just be a minority, but it's there. You are aware of it. You know, if I'm, if I'm seeing, Kelly Clarkson who needs, a little loving, and if it's something like that, it's gonna be hard to say that's not a part of the attraction. When we attract the people, it tends to be an entire thing. I just think, okay, one person said it this way. He said, if she's offended about the prenup, then somewhere in the back of her subconscious, my money is important to her.
That's what I just said. He's like, you shouldn't have a problem. You should not have a problem signing a prenup. And before even the marriage, you should be having these honest adult conversations. That's why I said that's a alert. It's a red flag. If someone has a problem signing a prenup, you should reconsider marrying them. And if you do marry someone and you have a prenup in a marriage, save your money.
Yeah.
Right. So save your money. Stop spending recklessly.
Yeah. But guys, I'm going to be honest. I'm still in the middle because I know rationally prenup makes sense, but there's still that side that says, wow, man, that it sort of changes the energy in the room. It sucks the air out of the room. Hey, I love you so much. I can't see my life without you. Oh my God, you're so amazing. You're so remarkable.
Okay, so what about if you talk about this topic early on, like maybe date number 4, when you just meet the person?
I don't trust that because people say anything in the moment. I'm saying if the chemistry is great and everything is going great, you're gonna say okay, maybe especially if you're on the less mature side, and I don't mean age wise, because there are people 70 who are not very mature, and there are people 18 who are very mature. I'm never sure about that. But you raise a very good topic. What you're saying, I guess, is throw it out there and go fish, see what's happening.
Right.
See what the person thinks, what they're thinking. But again, it might just be how I'm wired, or most people are wired. Because I also got the sense from some of the ladies that I spoke to, the brothers were okay with it. Amazing, they seem to be fine. But then they could have just been saying that, right? But I also got the sense from a lot of the sisters that it just was insulting to them. Because basically one person said, the 37-year-old, she said, what does he think I'm, a gold digger?
Maybe.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. That was a response. What do you think I am? And you're right. Maybe you are. And it is right that the other person, male or female, they should protect themselves. And you, Queen Elisa, you raise a great point when you say, hey, you know what? I need to protect myself.
Does this go back to one of our very first he said, she said topics, where should women date men who make far less than them and vice versa?
Right.
Yeah, so maybe people shouldn't really date people who make too far less than them.
Yeah, but you can start dating the person and they're at point A, and then 2 months later, a year later, so like I said, I've actually seen that happen. I've seen I know a couple where the husband was struggling, rapper in New York, struggling, ain't nothing happening. And he created something on the side, just playing around, and he's now a billionaire. Right. None of them saw that coming. She was making serious bread. Within 2 years, they were billionaires. They're together, they're happy, they're married. But then some things, because sometimes you can't tell with it. Sometimes just being in the presence of someone who's successful drives you to become successful, male or female. It's just that it's a very complex topic. And I guess, but you saying, should we normalize prenup? That's a really
Yeah, what I mean by normalize is a lot of people think prenups are just for the rich. they don't, like working class people, the average person, they don't realize that if you get a divorce from somebody, they're coming for your pension. That's what I mean by normalizing it with the average 98% of people in the world, not the 2% who are rich. They know about prenups.
Yeah, they have to, unless they're Paul McCartney, who knew but didn't care. You know what I'm saying? And then we have to remember that prenups are also a relatively new concept.
Oh, hey, Ty. Ty said, I'm a hopeful romantic, but sign the prenup and yes, normalize it. Life, love, romance, marriage, death, all involves papers that just have to be signed. It makes things life easier.
Oh, that's a great point.
Yeah.
Great point. And I can relate to what she's saying on every level, because that's kind of how I feel. But like I said, those people I spoke to, some of those people, just the idea of someone asking them that, they were insulted, personally insulted.
Right.
But at the same time, whether or not you're broke, we don't know what you're going to be tomorrow morning. I mean, there are people right here on YouTube who put out some blog and went to their bed and woke up with 3 million views. And then so they had all these people. I mean, I actually, that girl I spoke to you about, that's what happened to her. She did a vlog, and after someone said, hey, whatever, and she did a vlog. First one, 12 views. Second one, maybe 35. Went to bed. The third one, woke up, millions of views, and it changed her life.
Right.
We don't know what's going to happen tomorrow, so I think we should have to. Maybe we should. Okay, let me put it another way. In talking to you, this is what's crossing my mind. Maybe the rich are rich because they don't allow their emotions to get into the way of their business. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And maybe that's one of the few things we should actually follow. You can't get too emotional, and especially at the beginning of the process,
right,
when you're still learning about each other. So maybe we should normalize. Now, when you say normalize, I meant to ask you, do you mean make it standard? Standard in the sense that with every marriage, this is a possibility. The couple still decide that they want to sign it. But with every marriage, it comes up in conversation.
Yeah, when I mean normalize it, like what I was saying before, the average person, they don't think about prenups. Normalize it in the sense that everybody should be thinking about it. The moment that they say I do. That should be thought. Most couples don't talk about those things. The average couples, they don't say, okay, let's get a prenup. They don't think. They really think it's only for rich people. It's for anyone, any working class person, and that it has a pension and all this assets. A prenup is very important. And I think it takes like a growth mindset to be open-minded to prenups. Like those women that you were talking about, maybe they're not at the point yet where they understand someone saying to them, it's okay to have a prenup, because like I said, I used to be that person that I always thought prenups were for like celebrities.
Right.
So I started going out more, traveling more, and just opening up my brain. Like, wow, anybody could get a prenup. So it just takes being more open-minded to things,
Yeah. I mean, people on this one, I'm in the middle. I gotta admit.
I'm in the middle too, Peter. But
yeah, it's a weird one.
I'm a little open to it, like it's not.
I mean, I'm certainly. I think it's a good idea to talk about it. I think, and I think we've both raised pretty solid reasons why you actually should have a prenup. And maybe this is just a reflection of like me culturally, where I'm from culturally, and how I see the world. And I am a hopeless. But the comment that what was her name again?
Ty.
Oh, gave made sense, which is romantic or not, you gotta protect yourself.
Yeah.
Because none of us can see the future.
And and the Jamaican culture, most people, they don't divorce. Even if they're not together, they don't divorce. So
It's not really a part of. I mean, I think maybe with the generation coming up, it's becoming more acceptable. I mean, I have friends who practice certain faiths, religions, and they would never get divorced. No matter what happens, they don't care. It's
right,
just, so a prenup would not even be a conversation that they're willing to even have. You know what I'm saying?
right. That's what I'm saying. Like certain cultures, even if they're not together, they're not going to go through the divorce process. So
Yeah.
they don't need to talk.
That,
But
that
in the
would matter.
American
Yeah, it would matter. It would really matter.
it wouldn't
Um,
matter. But in the American culture,
yeah.
prenups, we want prenups.
Just like that song name, we want prenup.
That's Kanye West.
Um, you know, oh, guys, I need to tell you this. If you have not yet hooked up with Alicia's channel, VivaKolor, please hit her like button if you're enjoying the show. Please feel free to leave a comment, share us out, tell your friends, and more importantly, hit her subscribe button. She's got dope content. Go check her out. Next week we're going to be doing this on my channel, which is Peter Lloyd World. At the same time next week, we're going to have another exciting, he said, she said. I don't think there's a winner this week because this one was like, this
Yeah.
is no black and white in any way, shape, or form. It's really about where you're at. I think Alicia was right from the very beginning. It's really about where you are in terms of your financial maturity, not even your emotional. Where are you financially? Because the truth is, you'd be a little bit moronic to marry someone you've known for 4 months if you're a billionaire without a prenup. You'd be a little crazy. You'd be
Don't do
a
it.
little nuts.
Don't do it.
Yeah, and if I'm to be honest with you, you may become much more successful than you suspect in life. So maybe you should actually think about
Yeah.
having
Don't doubt yourself.
Yeah.
Don't doubt yourself. You might
All
just
right.
blow up.
Yeah. Well, I mean, as usual, you get the last word, Queen Alicia.
What am I gonna say this week? Should we normalize prenups? Try it. You only live once. Try different things and see what happens.
At least have it in the discussion.
Right. Talk about it. Talk about, I think before people get married, have honest conversations. Like, what do you really want? And stop agreeing with the other person because you're so in love. Take love out of the picture and just have honest conversation. I'm so serious. People are just like, I'm in love. I mean, yes, love is good, but take it out the picture and see what you really have.
Yeah, I think I kind of agree that people, like I said, this week I'm somewhere in the middle. I think Queen Alicia is right. So join us next week. Right. Thank you guys for stopping by. If you are enjoying these, please leave a thumbs up. Let us know. And like I said, if you haven't hooked up with Queen Alicia's channel, VivaKolor, that's VivaKolor. All right. Hit her subscription button. Show her some love, and I'm sure you're gonna enjoy her content. She does dope stuff. Next week Thursday we do this at the same time. 6 p.m. Jamaica time, 7 p.m. Eastern, or 4 p.m. Pacific on my channel, which is Peter Lloyd World channel. We alternate every other week. It was a good one. You gave us a great one. Thank you so much for coming up with this idea.
Guys, see you next week.
All right.